Hey everybody, this is Laird of Garskaden. Today I want to read to you a small little bit out of this one article that I found quite a long time ago. Somebody asked me for, what are the different ways that Turks deny the Armenian genocide? He wanted this for his class. And so I immediately said, I know exactly what I should say. So I pulled out this book called Remembrance and Denial, The Case of the Armenian Genocide. And it's a collection of articles of historians and people who have to deal with, who have to research the Armenian genocide and have to deal with people who deny the Armenian genocide. So specifically, this book is about the denial of the Armenian genocide, so it's appropriate. And I flipped to this specific thing, this article that is written by Richard G. Hovannisian. The name of the article is Denial of the Genocide and the Holocaust. This book, by the way, Remembrance and Denial, is edited by Richard G. Hovannisian. The copyright is 1999, and the quote that I'm going to pull this from is from page 203 to 204. I quote, "As the central characteristic of genocide is the calculated, intentional decimation of the targeted group, refuting the factor of intent is foremost in the denier's brief. Negators and rationalizers of both the Armenian genocide and the Holocaust emphasize the following points. 1. Stories about alleged genocide are based on wartime propaganda. 2. Armenians in the Ottoman Empire and Jews in Europe were perceived as posing very real security threats, and their actions demonstrated that these concerns were not imaginary. 3. There was no intent to annihilate either group, only to relocate its members. 4. The deaths that occurred were primarily the same causes that carried away even more Turks and Kurds, in the Armenian case, and Germans in the Jewish case. 5. The number of Armenian and Jewish dead is much less than claimed, and most of the alleged victims were actually ended up in other countries. 6. The myth of genocide was created in both cases for economic and or political motives. 7. Those who believe and promote the myth have been the willful or unwitting abettors of communism and Soviet expansion and the destabilization of the NATO alliance and the West. 8. And lastly, the proponents of truth, that is, those who do not accept the reality of the genocide against the Armenian people, are struggling against powerful political lobbies to rectify negative stereotypes and historical misconceptions as persons brave and bold enough to champion free speech and inquiry." And I'll post this whole little quote in the sidebar so you can read it and understand it, because maybe I don't pronounce it well enough for you. Yeah, that is it. I have yet to meet someone who has called me an unwitting abettor of communism, but definitely I can observe that, since I've seen people say, like President Obama is saying it's not the right time to bring up the Armenian genocide, even though he's already come out and publicly said, yes, the research definitely says the Armenian genocide happened. Eventually he's going to openly acknowledge it or push for it in Congress, but he says now is not the right time. It's pretty interesting. It sounds like he doesn't want to destabilize the alliance right now, and it makes sense because Turkey and Armenia are heading in a pretty good direction right now, so it would be unwise to do that at this point in time. But he's got to do it during his presidency. That's a little off the topic, but anyway, I found that I have nothing to add to this list, and all the things that he says in here of people, how people deny the genocide, pretty clear. To move on, in the same article, Richard G. Hovannisian He talks about how people like to trivialize the Armenian genocide, and we have to understand that this is logically fallacious. They'll say, "Oh, how many people died in the Holocaust is so much greater. How many people were killed by Stalin? Oh my God, that's way bigger. Why are you paying attention to the Armenian genocide? Is nothing. We shouldn't be paying attention to that. Basically, yeah, logically fallacious." And I've actually had quite a few Turks, specifically Turks, and this is just an observation. Okay, I'm not generalizing to all Turks, but it has been only Turks that have been doing this to me. Is they like to say, "Why don't you focus on these other things? Like, why don't you focus on all the Native Americans that Americans have killed, that the pioneers have killed? Why don't you focus on all the Africans that American imperialists have killed? Why don't you focus on all the people you're killing in Iraq and Afghanistan, innocent people, etc., etc.?" And my only answer to that is, it has nothing to do with the Armenian genocide. None of these things have anything to do with the Armenian genocide. So you're asking me, why don't I pay attention to those things? It's because I'm paying attention to the Armenian genocide right now. All right? They're trying to trivialize it to make it seem like it's less extreme for some reason, and therefore it's not worthy of any attention at all. And yeah, whatever. Go read some of those Armenian memoirs and tell me if it's unworthy, brother. Anyway, I hope this video finds you all well, and I wonder if other people have experienced people who have denied things that actually fit this list, or maybe something that hasn't fit this list. Maybe you've found a different way that Turks deny the Armenian genocide. If you do, hey, send me a PM or something and tell me about it. This is Laird of Garskaden signing out.